Welcome to ENT student for discussion on biological target agents, which is important for head and neck cancer as a question. Start.
Introduction. The non-surgical management of head and neck cancer has undergone a number of significant changes in the last decade. This include application of technological advances in radiation delivery as a means of reducing normal tissue toxicity and potentially increasing dose to tumor tissue. These include application of technological advances in radiation delivery as a means of reducing normal tissue toxicity and potentially increasing dose to tumor tissue. Clear demonstration of the superiority of concomitant chemoradiotherapy over radiotherapy alone in definitive and adjuvant settings.
So you could see here that we are improving in radiation and concomitant chemoradiation therapy. You can call it as CCRT. Radiotherapy and CCRT are the two advances that are there nowadays for head and neck cancers.
Identification of some of the molecular biological processes that drive the disease and the development of new therapies that target specifically them. Improved understanding of the molecular biology of cancer has fundamentally changed the search for new therapies for malignant disease.
So now cancer is considered as a molecular disease. As a molecular disease, the processes that drive the disease and development of new therapies. So new therapies are the need of the day, and targeting a specific process is also the need of the day. So they are providing us the new therapies for cancer.
Central to this change has been the realization that cancer is a genetic disease. It occurs when the information contained in the cellular DNA is corrupted or decoded aberrantly. These changes are manifest as altered patterns of gene expression, derangement of normal protein function.
So as we know, cancer is a genetic disease, one point to be noted, and information in DNA is corrupted. It is aberrant or decoded aberrantly or corrupted, and otherwise the patterns of gene expression are very important. Gene expression are very important, and gene is the one which is helping us to form a protein. Protein function is changed because of the gene. We have to understand the gene then.
Genetic changes that result in development of cancer can be considered to mediate two general effects: enhancement of the activity of genes that stimulate cell growth, survival and spread, reduction of the actions of genes that repress these processes.
So life has got cell growth, cell survival and spread of a cell. Okay, and there should be a control for this, that is reduction of this action that repress these processes. So growth is there and also decrease in the growth is there. There should be a balance between these two. You need that.
As a consequence, as a consequence of these changes, cancer cells acquire the properties that allow them to grow in an uncontrolled fashion, invade adjacent normal tissues, recruit a dedicated blood supply, spread to distant metastatic sites and develop resistance to anti-cancer therapies. The key normal cellular processes that are altered in head and neck cancer cells will be described.
As we know, a cancer cell should have an uncontrolled growth, number one. Number two is invasion to the adjacent tissues. Number three is they should have their own blood supply. Number four is distant metastasis cascade that occurs. Distant metastasis that should occur. And they develop the resistance to the anti-cancer therapies. Number five is that the key normal processes that are altered in head and neck cancers. So normal cellular processes are all altered, they lead to head and neck cancer. That you should keep it in mind.
Molecular biology of head and neck cancer. Genetic code. The genetic code is contained in DNA molecules that are packaged in chromosome in the nucleus of the cell. DNA molecule consists of sugar-phosphate backbone, with each sugar bearing one of the four nucleotide bases: the purines, adenine and guanine, and pyrimidines, thymine and cytosine. Two DNA strands twist around one another to form a double helix with the bases forming hydrogen bonds with specific partners in the opposite strand. A is only able to form pairs with T, C is only able to form pairs with G. The helix is wound around nucleosomes consisting of histone proteins and is further condensed to form chromatin.
As we could see here that the DNA molecule is the basis of it, and then it is the main thing, that is the chromosomes that are present which have this DNA molecule, number one. There is a sugar moiety and phosphate backbone. So if this is the phosphate backbone, there is a sugar moiety that should be kept in mind. And each sugar has four nucleotides. Four nucleotides. So nucleoside plus phosphate becomes nucleotide. Nucleoside plus phosphate becomes nucleotide, as we know from biochemistry. So what are these? Like these four nucleotide bases are adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine, as we know this, and uracil is the one which is there in the case of RNA. The two strands, they twist one around each other, they form the double helix, as we know that A is linked with T and C is linked with G. So A, T, G, C, as we know this pairing occurs in this DNA, and this helix is around the nucleosomes and histone proteins, the proteins that are there, and at the end of the day they form the chromatin by condensation.
DNA structure.
As we could describe it here, so A and T, so A with two bonds it links with T, G with three bonds links with C. So this is 5' and this is 3' end. Once again, these are complementary. This is 5' end here, so this is 5 here and 5 here and 3 here and 3 here. These are opposite, as we know that. So this is like deoxy R is the deoxyribose sugar. This is the sugar moiety, as we have seen, and then phosphate. This is the phosphate backbone, as we have seen. Phosphate backbone, as we have seen, and then G triple C A double T. So this is the DNA structure, unfolded DNA structure. If the DNA structure is like this, when we try to unfold it, it becomes like this, like a ladder structure. By means of Watson and Crick, we could understand this.
Transcriptional control elements in regulation of gene expression.
So as we could see here, there is something called as enhancer and promoter here. This is the transcription start site and coding sequence here. So this is the TATA, that factor that is present over here. So nearly variable distance of 20,000 base pairs is here. So we could see here that this is the RNA polymerase and this is the promoter and this is the enhancer. The proteins binding to the enhancer and promoter genes. So these are the proteins. This is the enhancer and this is in a straight line. This is in a curved one, which we have seen. This is the enhancer and this is the promoter. And you could see the RNA polymerase here. Based on that, only at the end of the day, for protein synthesis, you need to have mRNA, and this is the coding sequence.
The entire genetic code consists of approximately 3.2 into 10 power 9 bases and contains approximately 30,000 genes, which account for only about 1% of the genome. The DNA sequence within a gene comprises so-called exons and introns. The exons represent the protein coding regions that are translated at the ribosome, whereas the introns are non-coding and they are edited out before translation can occur.
So total number of genes, as you could see, 3.2 into 10 power 9 bases are present in the genetic code, and nearly 30,000 genes, that is 30k genes are present. Only 1% of the genome is functional according to our understanding. We have the exons which are functional and introns which are non-functional. So these exons, they are the protein coding regions and they are translated at the ribosome. And introns are the non-encoding region, they are edited or spliced, they are removed before the translation occurs. There are two steps like transcription and second step like translation in the protein synthesis, as we know that.
Gene protein synthesis. The function of genes is to make proteins, and this process occurs in two steps. First, because the DNA code is confined to the nucleus, its information must be carried to the site of the protein production by a messenger ribonucleic molecule.
So genes are responsible for this protein synthesis, as we know that, and it occurs in two steps. Number one is the formation of mRNA molecule. The carrier is towards the mRNA molecule is formed here.
Transcription. This process of making a copy of the information in the DNA code is called transcription. RNA differs from DNA in two ways. The sugar backbone contains ribose and thymine is replaced by uracil.
So in RNA, the transcription DNA code formation is called as transcription, and RNA which is there, which is different from DNA, we already discussed. It consists of ribose sugar instead of deoxyribose sugar, and thiamine is replaced by uracil. Instead of A is equal to T, it forms A is equal to U. Uracil is present in the RNA. Everybody knows this.
The process by which genetic information is transcribed into mRNA, transported to the ribosome and translated into a cellular protein is complex and subject to multiple levels of control. Regulation of transcription is the key initiating event in the process, and it is mediated by the interaction between enhancer or promoter elements in the DNA and specific proteins that bind to them.
So by transcription we get the mRNA and multiple levels of control are there, and regulation of this transcription whatever is occurring, so it is mediated by interaction between enhancer region and promoter region, which we have already seen, and specific proteins that we have to explain it behind, like we have gone to the previous slide. So this is the enhancer region, this is the promoter region, in between the proteins will be binding and RNA polymerase leading to mRNA formation. As we have already seen that, we understand that.
At the transcription start site, a DNA-dependent RNA polymerase II is recruited and begins to synthesize an mRNA molecule that is said to be complementary to the coding strand of DNA. This means that the DNA sequence that is being transcribed serves as a template for the production of specific mRNA molecule.
So the enzyme required here is the DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. So RNA will be synthesized, it is called as RNA polymerase, and it synthesizes the mRNA molecule. At the end of the day, transcription forms mRNA molecule, and this means that the DNA sequence, so DNA is a template, it is just like a mold for the mRNA to form.
This mRNA molecule is then subjected to a number of so-called post-transcriptional modifications, include splicing out of introns and processing the ends of the molecule to make it ready for export from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Many human genes, approximately 60%, can undergo alternate splicing of the mRNA transcripts, which means that one gene can give rise to production of a number of different protein molecules.
After the mRNA is formed, you need to have a post-transcriptional modification, number one. And then splicing out of the introns, unnecessary things are to be removed, that is splicing out of the introns, and processing of the ends of the molecule should be there, and they should be ready for the export. Most human genes, as you could see here, so they have got alternate splicing. Splicing has got alternate mechanisms of the mRNA, and that it means to say that one gene can give rise to production of different protein molecules. One gene can form n number of protein molecules based on the splicing only. Number of protein molecules based on splicing only.
Once the mRNA is in the cytoplasm, it may be degraded by cellular small interfering RNA molecules before translation occurs.
So before translation occurs, small interfering RNA, they degrade this mRNA.
Translation. If the mRNA reaches the ribosome, it is decoded into a specific protein molecule through the process of translation, which is based on the fact that groups of 3 nucleotides represent specific amino acids. It is the protein products of genes that mediate the functional phenotypic changes that we recognize as cancer.
It is very much understood. The second step after transcription is translation. So mRNA, it reaches the ribosome and it has got decoded into a specific protein molecule. The function of mRNA is to form a specific protein molecule, that is by translation. Whatever the code that it gets, it is translated into a protein. It is translated into a protein molecule. And otherwise you have got, as you know, every 3. So 3 nucleotides represent specific amino acids. So they form UAA, UAG, UGA. Examples like as we listen in biochemistry, these are all like 333 triplets. Okay, it is the protein products of the genes. So at the end of the day, the protein products, they are the functional products, they are the phenotypic changes. At the end of the day, cancer is understood to be a genetic disease.